Hello and welcome to Family Dynamics. It's Katherine.
It's Liz.
And Ed.
And John.
So we just had a lovely Thanksgiving. A lot of the family was together at your house, Liz. You hosted. Thank you. It was lovely.
Yes, I'm still recovering.
I know. It was pretty stressful. I mean, just like watching how amazing of a job you did. Multiple tables. Everything's set so beautifully. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest Thanksgiving we've had since, pre-COVID.
Yeah. Was it 27, 26?
Something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
it was a lot. It's a big group when we all get together. And then we had a couple extras, not hugely extra.
And they're still
we
family, yeah.
Our cousin Christian, who lives locally, and his fiance came. That was lovely.
Jenny, yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
One big absence, though, was
Our mother.
Yeah. I mean, she ditched us and went to Hawaii.
Also, Ginny's husband, Brian, was not there. He was not feeling well.
And Marie, our little other niece that could not be with us.
For sure, the big absence was no mom. Because that's like, what? Okay.
It's great that she decided to go away. And we did FaceTime her at some point.
We got a lot of her neck and her shoulder.
Yes.
FaceTime was pretty
Not
good.
a great FaceTime.
I mean, that's a classic older person trying to do a FaceTime. Like, let me hold this in the most unflattering spot, but sure.
Yeah, from a loud restaurant. What?
And also, now I have to go get food. Why did you call right now then? What are you doing?
I don't know. Yeah, the day before, well, even the week before, Mark, my husband, started to freak out about, oh my gosh, we're going to have this many people. I don't think we've had this many people in this many years. We got to move all the furniture out. We need 3 turkeys. We need 3 turkeys.
3 turkeys? What the?
Well, because he feels like all the nieces and nephews are adults now, and they really do eat.
That is true.
There's nothing wrong
we
about
went
that.
from like kids for many, many years, and now it's like grown-up people.
Yeah, there's just a very short 3-year window of like, oh, everybody's under 5 feet tall. Psh, everybody's over that height. And now they're all eating my food. What happened?
Yeah, big people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what Mark must have thought before Thanksgiving. Let's keep going.
Yes. So there was a big, I'm not saying it was a rumor or not, but that turkeys were going to be of a high demand, possible shortages this year. We did not run into that, but we did go to our local Ralph's or Kroger's, depending on where you live. He comes up to me in the aisle and he goes, "We got a big problem. We got a big problem.
Oh, no.
And I thought, oh my God, like, do they really not have turkeys?
We're going to have ham? What's happening?
Because he made us go, I think it was the Friday before.
Oh, okay.
Because he was so nervous.
Although there was also a secret benefit for that Friday, wasn't there?
Yes, because also with Ralph's, you get extra points, which I did not know he was manipulating that too.
Oh, he had another secret squirrel plan.
Yeah, I was like, God, we're going so early. And we had not made a list. So when we hit the grocery store, he was basically saying, what else do we need? What else do we need? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't make a list. I thought all we were coming for
the turkeys.
Yeah, was for the freaking turkeys, which now you're telling me they only have 15-pound scrawny turkeys available.
Oh, no.
So
is that scrawny? I don't even know.
In his book, yes.
Okay.
He wants an 18 to 20-pound turkey.
Okay.
So I'm thinking we are going to have 60 freaking pounds of turkey. I'm like, oh my God. So, but I've learned not to fight certain things with Mark because he just gets so like, and he'll be like, no, I don't get worked up about it. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Like, he is like, it's going to be a failure if we don't have 3 turkeys. So, fine.
God. Okay.
So I said, really? They don't? Have you asked if they have any in the back? What do you mean? I go, well, sometimes they don't put everything out.
Yeah,
Maybe,
there's not room or whatever.
I go, otherwise we'll come back tomorrow. Believe me, they're getting deliveries every day. So we go up there, and it was like a great, like, I don't know if he was a college age or high school age. It was not the real butcher when you buzz the butcher ringer.
This was a young person.
Yeah,
is what you're
hey,
saying.
man.
He was a junior butcher.
Yeah, it's like, what's up, man? What's going on? Like, so California. And I'm like, do you by any chance have larger turkeys in the back? Oh, yeah, we just don't put them out. Mark's like, oh, thank God.
I'm afraid they'll fly away, man.
So, 20 plus years of marriage, I have to give him a look like, told you so. And he has to give me a look like, oh, you're so annoying. So we're standing there. I said, well, we need 3 20-pound turkeys. Whoa. All right,
no.
hold on. So we get 3 20-pound-ish turkeys.
Wow.
And, and then I was very resistant to anything else he was trying to get in the cart because I did not have a list. So it's just irritating me. And also, I wanted to go to a finer cheese store than our local grocery store. And he's like, no, just buy it here. I'm like, no.
You don't like Murray's?
I actually do like Murray's.
What's Murray's?
Oh, is there not a Murray's at the local Ralph's that you went to?
Actually,
Sorry.
not.
Is Murray's a type of cheese or a cheese place?
Murray's is a great cheese store in New York City, which one time I was staying there for a couple weeks and would cross it regularly and stop in quite regularly. And, it's one of those places you walk in, like, whoa, the smell of fromage is strong.
Stinky cheeses.
Boy, clear those sinuses right up. So then you kind of get used to it as you walk around. And okay. So they have now put in sort of a cheese counter center in some of Ralph's.
Oh, like a
stores.
Like the
little
Starbucks.
kiosky thing. Sort of like their own little thing, their store within a store almost.
And I don't, you know what? I have to admit this. I don't do the grocery shopping very often. So if there is, because Mark so gets excited about coupons, which I refuse. So he really likes to go grocery shopping and come back and be like, I saved $60.
Which is impressive.
It is impressive. He's like,
yeah.
He really gets excited if the checkout person is impressed.
Oh.
He was like, they were really impressed with once we did my points, once we did my coupons, and they saw how much I saved, they were shocked. I'm like, well, are they coming to dinner tomorrow night? I mean, you have established a relationship. It's so ridiculous. So
Did they give you any extra points for being great? No?
Right.
Well, then
and you brought your own bags. So, I don't do any of that. So he is gladly taken over Ralph's shopping. So if there is a Murray's cheese counter at our Ralph's,
You're unaware.
I don't think there is, but there could be, and I've just missed it. So, but I know there is one near yours, which is really nice and fancy. But they do sell the Murray's cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I wanted like a Trader Joe's or Bristol Farms. I wanted to get like inspired. And I need to get that one special cheese that Rosie really loves, which is only a Trader Joe's.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the goat cheese Gouda.
Yeah, so I'm
That
like,
thing is so good.
yeah. So I'm like, don't ruin my holiday joy, which is a trip to a fancy grocery store. Not the Ralph's, which Ralph's is great, but I need the fancy grocery store.
Yeah, you need a little...
It really sets the holiday mood.
a special side trip.
Yeah, so he's trying to get me to, like, off memory, figure out what else I need for Thanksgiving dinner at Ralph's. I'm like, I don't know. Aren't you going to get enough points? And can't you use your coupons with these, and listen, there's no sale this year on turkeys or, spend this much in groceries and get one free. That was not happening. So we're just buying these turkeys, which are still a very good deal at Ralph's. But I'm like, isn't this enough with your points and your coupons? Like we have we bet like 2 carts are so heavy.
Plus, you got a whole nother week.
Yes.
Well, in his mind, he's going 60 pounds of turkey. This is a good deal. And what are you going to get, like 3 pounds of cheese for the same price someplace else? Maybe get a discount.
Maybe, I don't know. So I know a couple more things got in the cart. It couldn't be stopped. But we got our turkeys.
That was
meant,
mostly a turkey trip.
yeah. And the only way this could be done is because we have a second refrigerator. Not to sound posh, but we keep it semi-organized. But it is for the most part, beverage refrigerator. So
And it's like your old refrigerator when you got
exactly.
a new one or whatever.
Yes.
We have one too. I mean, ours is literally, we should probably trade that one in because it's super old. Our garage refrigerator.
But I don't believe in that. I believe in, we have our washer and dryer, which a lot of people have said, oh, you should get more energy efficient washer and dryers. We've had the same washer and dryers since we bought our previous house. So you're talking 20 plus years of this washer and dryer. They work. So what am I just going to do a landfill? Like they work.
Yeah.
If they broke down, then yes.
Different issue, sure.
But at this point, if I hear one more person complain or have an in-depth conversation at a dinner party about their energy efficient washer and dryer, I'm going to lose my fucking nut.
What, that they don't do a good job?
They don't
Ours
do a good job.
A crappy job.
You got to leave it open, otherwise you get mold. You did a wrong program and it's locked for a year. I mean, like, I don't want to hear about it.
You could definitely challenge these guys of like, oh yeah, no, I got mine to full energy efficiency. How did you do that? Did you upgrade? No, I installed a bicycle. It's powered just like the Gilligan's Island version, and now it's me riding a bike doing the washing machine. Enjoy.
Close.
Super green.
Ours is that old, so it is getting close to that. But
All right, so your second refrigerator.
But even your old refrigerator, don't
Yeah.
get rid of it unless it doesn't work. Otherwise, you're just putting something out into the universe as a landfill, in my opinion.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay, so we then had to clear out to make room to put the 3 turkeys in.
I did offer because we additionally have a giant person-sized freezer. So we have the outside garage refrigerator and a freezer because
What
Eric
is going on at your
Eric,
house?
yeah. At one point, Eric thought he was going to do one of those like prepackaged meal diet things. I think this was last year. John, do you remember? Maybe the year before?
I think maybe the year before.
Yeah. So there was ads running, and he was like, "Oh, the man version of whatever." Not Jenny Craig. I want to like Nutrisystem, maybe. Anyway, so he's like, "But I'm going to get all this frozen food, and where are we going to put it?" It's like, well, in that second refrigerator, there is plenty of room. I don't know why you're having a crisis, but he went out and tried to buy a freezer, couldn't get one, then ordered one, and it is literally you could put a person in it. It is so huge. We were like,
Good to know.
Eric, what do you? I think I offered. I said
To put a body in it? No, just
no.
kidding.
You'll sleep in there when the air conditioning's broken.
I remember when you were like, we're going to go and buy all these turkeys. And I was like, if you need freezer space, we have it for you. So just let me know.
You were
But,
not
yeah.
exaggerating.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Person for sure. I mean, I wouldn't recommend putting a person in there because that's bad. But, it just reminds me of Dead to Me, the TV show. I just finished watching it. Anyway. All right. Sorry. Back to
Very
you.
suspect Tiffany Kennedy goes missing. It's just like, oh my goodness. Okay, so so then that was Friday, and I was able to get him to chill out for the weekend.
Meaning not do more grocery shopping.
Not really,
for a little bit.
no.
Yeah.
But then even I, did the family email updating everybody what they needed to bring or what I felt was
missing.
missing, which nothing is.
No. It's all too much.
Because really, what you realize it is. Taking into account all the sides, it's like, I mean,
you can't even eat all the sides. It was out of control. I mean, it's so much, and it's all so good, and then you're just like, holy shit, this is too much.
Yes.
What, John?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we need, what were there? Were there 3 or 4 kinds of bread?
that was a mistake. Yes.
And then we had 2 stuffings.
That's a whole story.
I know, yeah.
Well, because we do
so
a
just-
regular and a gluten-free, and you can't get people to not do it.
there were a lot of options. You guys are right.
Right. So,
Was there cranberry sauce?
Yes.
I totally missed it.
yeah.
Yes, there was. I remembered and put it out.
And of
Yes.
course, Liz doing the pylon, making that corn thing at the last minute,
get
which
to
was
that.
incredibly
So-
good. But yeah.
Yeah, so I would say there were 2 more trips to the grocery store, including Ralph's. Again, John and I did it. And also Trader Joe's to get all the cheeses.
Which I think you did get a lot of joy out of.
I did, and I did most of my shopping there. And those Trader Joe checkout team is just so personable.
Oh my God. Yeah. They
They're
are
always,
always
like,
very chatty. They
There's
want to
a comment, what you're getting, and
I think they must go through some kind of training where that is part of the vibe of like, no, this is Trader Joe's. Engage. Talk to the people. Ask them what they're doing with all this cheese.
Are you hosting? Oh, wow. How many people are you having come over? Oh, whoa, wow. How many turkeys did you get? Did you get them here? No, gosh, you should have, man. It's like, what? I mean, it's just.
It's very chatty.
I got a question for the 2 Trader Joe's people in the room. Mostly my sisters. I know John goes there a little bit, but mostly you 2. Do you
Oh,
ever run
we go a
into,
lot, yeah.
like a surly employee? Because Ralph's be having some surly employees.
I never
really.
once. No.
All right.
And I've seen some crazy stuff go down at Trader Joe's where you're in line and someone's at that return desk and they are clearly holding something that has been open, half consumed, and then for whatever reason they're deciding to return it. And that Trader Joe's employee is like, okay, no
Sure, no
problem. I'll
problem.
get you a voucher. Would you like another one? Oh, you would not like another one. Okay, well then we'll just, go pick something else out. I mean, they're so nice.
That's their thing, for sure.
They do not want you to take pictures of the flowers, or probably pictures in general.
What?
I have gotten in trouble multiple times.
No.
Yes.
What do you mean?
I didn't know
Because-
that.
You're right. Yes, Liz has sent me out to buy flowers, which is a nightmare. So I have to take pictures of all of the flower displays, and if they see you doing it, they're like, "Hey, Usually
Why?
the manager will do it.
What? Really?
I don't know.
I need to be there. Take pictures of all of the flower displays.
What could they possibly be concerned about?
I mean, it has
I'm
been.
going to ask them next time.
Well, because they do love to talk to you. I have been rather stealthy over the last probably 3 years, so it hasn't happened for a little while. So maybe they've relaxed their policy. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's so odd because there's bunches of flowers. Now I need to know too. Are we not allowed to take pictures of Trader Joe's displays and set up and products?
It's a Trader Joe's secret.
Oh, no.
Well, listen, they're in Hawaiian shirts, so they're usually all in a good mood. But, there's always something they discontinued that you can't find.
that's the hard thing, yeah.
That's the only bummer thing. You fall in love with something at Trader Joe's, and there is a 50-50 chance that within a year or two, it will be gone for some reason there's no explanation for it.
Yeah, I've had the only time I've ever had to talk to the managery type person, because obviously tons of chatting with the checkout person. They all recognize me and Adam and Sarah, and at least 5 or 6 of them are always like, "Hey, hi, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my god, this is probably weird. But the only time I've had to talk to a manager is when something has mysteriously just not been there, and then I'm like, I don't want to know, but I have to. Is this never coming back?
Right, exactly.
Because sometimes they're like, oh no, it's just a pause for production reasons or whatever. And they're like,
seasonal.
oh, yeah. No, we're retooling it. It's like, oh no.
Don't
that means
retool it.
it's
It's
gone.
perfect.
Yeah.
Your chicken pot pie, your chocolate covered Jozos. I mean, I can go down a list. Your meatless sausage. Bring it all back. So, John had a good grocery shopping trip. We thought we got it all. We came pretty close. And then the cooking started on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Because Mark decided he wanted to do 2 of the turkeys pre-Thanksgiving, which I was
so
like,
amazing.
wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, because
I didn't even know you could really do that.
we know that because of our friend Bruce Hecker, because we
right.
for years would volunteer at a mission on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and he would roll in with 100 trays of turkeys. So I said, how did you do this? He says, well, we start the day before. And I go, okay, so then how do you
Keep 'em prepped
Keep them
and-
prepped and warmed up. So it's chafing trays, which we have like 2 big, almost restaurant style chafing trays. So you put them in that with some turkey stock on the bottom, and that keeps it hydrated and brought back up. And
Right.
covered. So Mark thought, okay, we only have 2 ovens, which, nice. We have 2 big ovens, but you can't cook 3 turkeys the day of Thanksgiving.
No.
And plus just the carving of it and all that. So Wednesday was insane. I mean, I think we were up till 1 a.m.
Oh, no.
Wednesday started out fine and was going fine. And when I left at, 5:30, seemed like it was good to go. I was rolling the
I
next
couldn't
day.
stop. Yeah. I kept going and going and going. I was like, oh, well, also anything pumpkin I had in my pantry had to go. So we got to make
this
those.
is the end of pumpkin season now.
And speaking of Trader Joe's, it was like, oh, your pumpkin bread needs to be baked. Your pumpkin chocolate chip cookies need to be made. They're hockey pucks, by the way, now.
I did notice that.
Oh, I literally was going to break a tooth. And then Mark was like, let's microwave it. I'm like, I'm over it. No.
Well,
That softened it.
it did. That was going to be my thing. I hadn't tried it yet. I have one at home that I've been going to experiment with.
Well, it's a doorstop now.
No, because I'm going to microwave it
Okay.
or something, and then it's going to be fine. Although you aren't saying, and you're over it, and they are gone.
Well, the pumpkin bread will get eaten through the
I
weekend.
don't care about that. I'm talking about cookies.
I have to lie to you because if I tell you that they're still
No!
because
You got rid of them! No!
because I tell you, John, they were rocks. If I kept them, you would have broken a tooth. But I literally, you have to understand,
Crumble it on top of ice cream. What is wrong with you?
crumble. Like I'm telling you,
With a hammer.
they could kill somebody. I could have
With
thrown it at
Mjolnir.
Mark's head and killed him.
Look, on second thought,
Oh, geez.
part of the problem is there is too much. There's
Yes.
a million Oreos that I have to deal with. There's all these
Yes.
M&Ms, so maybe it's okay.
You can't tell
Maybe it was a
John
gift
you've
that
gotten
she
rid
threw
of
it
any
away.
baked good, like almost ever. That vegan gingerbread was horrible too.
That was so crazy when we were just
Wait,
clean-
vegan or the gluten-free one?
Maybe it's both, but it says
the
vegan.
Yeah, the label was vegan. It was the one in the middle of the cookie tray.
Oh, okay.
And just from the end of the night, or what? Not the end of the night, but just
Just
when we were
dried
cleaning
out?
up, it was so dry. It was crazy. Now Liz said that, and so I was like, okay, let me try it. And I will say,
See,
it was still slightly acceptable, and our mother certainly would have been happy with it.
I love gingerbread.
You just dunk it in
Well,
some
but
tea.
I feel like then they would have disintegrated and fell apart.
Oh, yeah.
But I took a bite of it because John and I were, wrapping up desserts at night, and I love gingerbread, and it looked so moist and delicious to start out. It was so bizarre.
Wait, was it gingerbread or was it pumpkin bread?
It was
Ginger.
gingerbread.
Okay.
All right.
I'll say this. I will admit this. I made a mistake. I got so excited seeing certain things. I crossed over into the gingerbread land
which
when I
is-
wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what the logic was. 'cause there
Nothing.
was
I
all-
lost my mind.
It's the right color. Wrong season.
Yes.
No, it was just
Wrong season by like 3 days.
A day.
whoa, like 4 weeks.
Well, and you also have to consider this is just America. In England, it's Christmas time after Halloween.
Yes. So you also had the gingerbread men cookies. But I think part of the problem was all the grocery stores are leading you astray. There was so
Yes.
much Christmas stuff out. So
I was like, I gotta get it. So I took a bite of the gingerbread the end of the night, and I was like,
not that bad.
oh my gosh, I was like, water. So no, I don't that. But you have to hide. We all have a family joke now. You have to hide it from John if you're getting rid of like almost anything. So day before, turkeys are in the oven. I am baking. I am plotting. I am thinking I'm going to also do my famous sweet potato souffle, which is Kris Jenner's recipe, but I don't follow her recipe to the T. I have cut the sugar down by half because there's so much sugar in it. And when you make it, you just cannot believe it's going to form into anything of a consistency because it is like soup.
Yeah.
I mean, you just
Eric
feel-
loves that thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is
It's
delicious.
amazing.
Our cousin and his fiance have texted me for the recipe, and I'm like, get ready to be shocked to shit. There is so
You
much.
kind of don't want to know.
You kind of don't want to know, but I have cut down the sugar pretty drastically because
I only don't eat it because I know there's so many eggs in it. It's a souffle, so I'm like, eggs too much.
Yeah, there's eggs in it and all that. So baking away all day, John helping with the setup. Mark, of course, that's always a big battle. The configuration of the tables.
Well, I mean, look, baking all day was not exactly that's why it went so late, 'cause there was a lot of baking late.
Baking all day and night.
Okay.
And also, this is where I am a bit of our mother, where, the task should just be Thanksgiving. But because I know, John.
I forgot about the other stuff that we were doing that day. Oh.
Because what happens is I get in there and then it's like, oh, well, I need to take on Ethan's room.
Oh no, because people are going to see it.
Not even people are going to see it.
Oh, why?
And I've had this idea about a piece of furniture I'm going to salvage.
God. Yes, because Mark's been denying me and saying it's not going to work, but now he's distracted enough, but I have help with John. I'm just going to squeeze it in there, pile it on, make it happen. And then in the end, everybody's like, you're right, Liz. So it was well
pretty
worth
great.
it. It was well worth it.
The pile-on is a specific skill. You can pile on and it'd be very successful, or you can pile on and it'd be a complete disaster. I ended up on the roof of the house this past week to clear off some branches that were touching the roof, which is fine. It wasn't that complicated to deal with, but you're like, well, this is good for 4 feet away from me, and that is 6 feet away from me, so I'm not going to get that. But it reminds me of our dad piling on, and he wasn't a good piler oner. It didn't go well for him when he tried to get on the roof before there was an event that day, and he fell off of the roof and broke his arm.
I mean, he fell off
Yes.
one time. He can do it. It's just one time he fell off.
I did not get on the roof pre-Thanksgiving.
That's good.
Okay, specific question. So this furniture that you were right, because it was more of a cupboard than like a cabinet or drawers. So it did work, but it did. I'm sure you are aware of this. It has a habit that one piece likes to just flop out and make a big crack noise. So has that happened yet?
No, but I
Okay.
look forward to it when it does scare Ethan in the middle of the night. It's called a field desk that Dad had forever, and then ended up in my bedroom as a kid or as a young teenager, and then it eventually moved with me places. So it's a family piece of furniture. So it's not. I don't take 100% ownership of it. It just has ended up in my house, and it was been in my garage since practically us moving into this house.
I know. What are we going to stack things on right by the light switch now?
I don't know, John. I actually have another idea. So It's very narrow, and the bottom doors open up, and there's a little, not little, but a piece that will fold out that will set on top of it, almost a shelf. So therefore, you have your little like desk if you were out in the field. I used to have 2 leather straps on the side, which antique roadshow. I'm sure the value has now been depleted by millions of dollars.
Well, and you just cleaned and oiled it. I mean,
Well,
now
that's
forget
fine. You
it.
can clean and oil
you
it.
can?
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
strip off like the original pine, or I didn't paint it, or don't worry. I looked it up. I tried to find anything equivalent to it on a Google search. Nope. So I don't think we have some national treasure in our house. But yes, I decided to do that on the Wednesday as well. Kind of
perfect.
reconfigure Ethan's room for him. And then it goes back to the main dining room, because this is what I have to take breaks from Mark's logic, and I think we have to do that with each other so we don't like get on each other's nerves, because he basically wanted to clear out all the furniture in our main room, all of it, which I hate, but I get it. Then he always has some wacko idea. He wants so much elbow room at the table. He's always like, oh, then you don't have room. You're crowded in, and you don't have room to eat. And he has this. He puts his elbows out like really wide and does them back and forth. Like, I go, who's eating like that? This is the argument we have every single year. He's like, you're gonna be all cramped in. So we have these 2 folding white tables and chairs that are from Costco. They are designed to seat 8 people. He insists that it should be no more than 6, which would look so bizarre. I can't even tell you. And I'm like, no, they're designed for 8. We're not bringing another table into. So he wanted 4 tables,
Oh, my.
not 3. And it was so getting on my nerves. That's why I would take breaks and go reorganize Ethan's bedroom.
You had a distraction project.
Yes, because it was like, I'm going to strangle you. And then he thinks he's really good at this, like spatially, like Eric.
Oh God.
So
Eric, who famously is a spatial genius, though I've never seen any direct evidence of this, but
I love a spatial genius. So I just have to roll with certain things, like, all right, we'll put the 2 tables over there, bring some, put everything in the garage to some, level. But it is a battle. So there were 3 big tables in our main room.
but then still that sitting area, so
Yes.
that stayed.
well, just a quick pause. So we didn't do all the furniture, which we were never going to do all the furniture. But the neighborhood boys did help us out, and it wasn't a disaster.
Yes, because we're the big hang house. So it's like, well, get in here and help. Then it cost us an in-and-out run. But that's all right.
Well,
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I mean, it was a weird, the day before Thanksgiving felt like we were doing a ton of stuff, but it felt like we were so ahead because it was like, well, this is the stuff you would do on the day. So we're doing it the day before. It was, but on the other hand, we did a lot of stuff not related to Thanksgiving. So
Yeah. So and I always, we do the turkeys, we do the appetizers, and I did that sweet potato souffle. But then I also decided I wanted to do this new recipe, this cornbread pudding, and I had this idea for rolls. And I wanted to set up the bar area in a different place than I've ever done it before. And because we don't have a dog that will jump up on things now, I was like, oh, we can put the appetizers not in the kitchen, because there's so much going on in the kitchen already. I mean, Mom, I missed her, of course, but she normally helps me with the gravy. I made the gravy the day before, too. Holy crap. I didn't miss her very slow deciding to come in and help me with the gravy or help Mark carve. I don't know how to explain it. It's like right on top. It's like you can't, it's like an immovable mountain. You're like, oh my God. Like,
and the pace is really slow.
She's still got the right vibe in the kitchen.
Yes.
The problem is she's really just not doing mainly anything except one task. So she's in the
Yes.
way of every other person who's trying to do something. It's great. I run into it every time we make breakfast together.
I thought you were going to say, oh, she gets distracted by the appetizer plate for a half hour.
No. I'm just saying the kitchen gets so crowded. And then if you're actually in the main thoroughfare of the, where the ovens are and the burners, it's just like, oh my gosh, get out. And people want to come in and talk and visit. And you're like, I'm just sort of in work mode here. So it's a little hard. So I thought, oh, I'll put the appetizers out there and the bar over there.
Yeah, well, you thought this.
And then initially I was like, no, there's not enough people here. I mean, some people say, I said, I call time 3:30. And someone had the gall to arrive at 3:20.
Was the email actually 3?
I think the email said
shit,
3.
It did? That's my
Yeah.
fault then. I literally was getting dressed and I heard that. I'm like, who is here at 3:20? And I thought, Liz, did you put 3:30 or 3?
You put 3.
And I
is
didn't have time to check.
It is your classic, like, you start with one time and then you immediately move it a little bit back.
Because as the hostess, you realize I'm a little behind. Oh my God. But I, try to get the appetizers rolling. And so many times I'm like, I'll do it. And then Mark ends up doing the whole cheese platter.
Well, this was so day before started good and ended crazy. Day of, you guys were doing great. I only got there an hour before the adjusted call time, so 2:30, and it was like,
God,
oh man,
I even screwed that up. Oh, gee.
whatever, it's fine. I mean, look, you could have asked for more help always, but so it was going okay. You guys had a lot done. But there was like a slowdown, and that was one of those things you're like, I'm gonna do the appetizers, but then you weren't around.
I
So it was
know,
like,
that was a mistake.
Mark had to do it, which he did. It was good.
Yeah, that was a mistake. And then Mark's always on carving duty, so he was really anxiously watching the last turkey in the oven, and I'm having to heat up my souffle. And then like I said, it was a new recipe because now we have gluten-free family members,
Right.
and 2 of the younger girls really like. They're bringing gluten-free corn muffins. So I thought, this is a kind of a combination of mom's what she used to bring, which was corn pudding, which is just too many eggs for you.
Oh, it's like an egg, thing.
And
basically.
so I had no desire to make that. And we had no rutabagas. Mom normally brings the rutabagas.
She loves to bring rutabagas.
Which are gross, but okay.
I like them. They're weird and taste terrible, but I do like them. They're like
bring 'em
sharp.
next,
and-
you can bring them next
No
year then.
thanks,
Yeah,
Ivy.
exactly. I didn't actually see them at any grocery store, so I don't know if there's a shortage or finally the world caught on. It's like we are not pilgrims. We have
No thanks.
We have better root vegetables.
Mary
There's so many
Killmond,
good ones.
Sent a letter to the Rutabaga Commission. It's like, I'm off this Thanksgiving.
I'll
You
be
can
in
chill.
Hawaii. Yeah. You don't need to worry about it.
Exactly. So, now it's a recipe that I saw on, I think it was both on TikTok and Instagram, and it's based around Jiffy, which is a boxed mix, and they're
For corn muffins or
for
whatever.
corn muffins and chocolate cake. I think they have as well.
But they have their whole line. Jiffy has a line of multiple box mixes.
And I did tell this to Liz, but you are falling into the Grand Mary trap because that is one of her favorites. She will do that, I don't know, every 2 months. There'll be a little Jiffy box that she makes for some random meeting. It's like, what are you doing?
What does she make? A cake or corn muffins?
No, not the cake. Although I think I have seen that. But
Corn
it's-
muffin, blueberry muffins.
Yeah, the blueberry muffin. Yeah.
Blueberry muffins.
I mean,
Well, it's a weird
there's
little
a weird
tiny
little blue dot of something. I don't think there's a blueberry
It's like a
in
freeze-dried little blueberry speck.
Chip.
there. The idea, the hint of blueberry.
So
But they're very sweet. I remember the batter being very sweet. Yeah. So,
Yeah, okay.
not bad. And like for, what is it, like $1 and an egg?
$1. It was 69 cents.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And actually, I think with your Ralph cards, it was 60 cents. So John and I are standing there on Wednesday, and they had a vegan option and their traditional option, but not a gluten-free.
Yeah, I don't think Jiffy does a gluten-free version of their
Right.
stuff.
They're like, hello, we have to keep this on the margin, on the, in our profit zone. It's got to be 69 cents.
Yeah. We're not doing no gluten-free version.
Where we're taking these swept aside wheat husks and turning this into something.
I think you're 100% right. So I was like, I can't do it. I got to get the gluten-free corn muffin mix. And so my 60-cent Jiffy cornbread pudding recipe, now you're dealing with something that costs like $7 corn muffin mix.
But it was a hit.
Oh,
And did you
so
even
good.
use it all?
No, because it only required like a cup and a half. So I could make it again, John. So that turned out, that's a new recipe that's going to be
Oh, yeah, that was
incorporated
good.
for sure. And Virginia, who normally does a green bean casserole, resisted this year. And Grand Jan made a version that was closer to soup, but it was really good.
There was not a lot of green beans in it
No,
by
it
the
was-
time I saw it.
But it was good, but it just
Yeah.
was like, wow, this didn't congeal up at all.
Yeah, we were making a plate for Brian who was not there. It was like, you get 3 green beans.
She does something called a dressing, which I guess is more Southern because my mother-in-law is, Southern roots. And that means you do not put in the turkey, which I haven't done ever. Our mom did do that growing up where she'd
Yeah.
stuff the bird, which takes longer to cook. And then there's all the scare tactics of like, is everything cooked properly and through? So
Well, and I'm a fan of like a little bit more crunch. So I like
Yes.
it's just in a pan being, dried out in the oven. And then you can put gravy on it if you want. But yeah, a little
yeah, so
crispy.
I've never done in the bird.
In the bird is very mushy sometimes.
So the first time I ever had Jan's dressing, they call it dressing. I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's not in the turkey. It's its own baking dish. It's really good. And it's more cornbread
hers is
based.
cornbread. Mm-hmm.
Right. So James loves it. I love it. But it's, of course, not gluten-free. So now with all these new gluten-free, not new, but members of our family, Rosie brings her own stuffing.
Yeah, Rosie and I have been gluten-free off and on to varying degrees for years. But now with the two girls actually testing for celiac disease, it became a different priority
Right.
of like, there needs to be truly gluten-free options.
Yeah, I didn't do. I used to, I kind of would follow mom's recipes or how she used to do it because I'd be in the kitchen as a kid with her. She would sprinkle some flour on top of the turkey.
Oh, of
she would
course,
say that
sure.
would like help it stick or for the gravy later. I mean,
Makes a crust, kind of.
yeah, did not do that. Did not put any flour into the gravy except a gluten-free flour that I'd had. So yeah, there were things I watched just so that they could eat it because our sister Virginia is being very diligent about it.
Yeah, well, you need to be.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna respect that. I'm not gonna try to sneak it in,
Yeah.
No, but so then with all these side dishes and these huge chafing trays, and all these large people now and these 3 tables, it's like, oh my gosh, this is just a lot going on.
Although we did kind of nail it because there's a table at the end of your island that usually all the food is on there.
Yes.
But then we realized it's not going to fit.
No way.
So it was like, oh, well, maybe the bread and the salad and also maybe another thing or two are going to be on one side of the island. So it ended up being like a full... I mean, one side didn't have anything, but people were like lined up all the way around the island and the table. It worked pretty well, I thought.
Yeah. And I mean, it was very windy, which made me nervous because the year before, the wind knocked out the power on and off throughout the day as my turkeys were in the oven.
Really? I don't remember that.
It was
Holy
very
moly.
stressful. But no, beautiful weather, but no one could really sit outside. That was one of Mark's plans to like get the large boys, nephews outside. Did not work. So everything turned out great. And shockingly, I guess the call time was 3. I thought 3:30, but fine. We pretty much had dinner like call time at 5:15.
Yeah, it felt way later than it was, but it was pretty early, I thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people do a almost Thanksgiving lunch.
Oh, yeah. They do like a very
12
early,
or 1 o'clock. And then maybe they'll have sandwiches later. It all sounds criminal to me, but that's fine. That's very normal. And
It's a
lot
Thanksgiving dinner in our family, for
Yes.
sure.
And growing up, that meant between 7 and 8 o'clock. I mean,
Just by virtue of like, whoops, things have not been done in an orderly fashion to be ready at 6. Now it's going to be 7, maybe later.
Yeah, it would be a lot of work at the current adult events that we've had to fill up on appetizers. There's not a big window to really fill up on appetizers. When there was like a 3 or 4 hour window, you're filling up on appetizers. By the time dinner comes around, you're like, I don't know if I can have seconds. I kind of had seconds by having my firsts.
But my in-laws would always make me nervous when they come to large events we'd have because my father-in-law, man, if you told him a time for dinner, he has like mapped out his whole day around it. So if mom was lagging by her traditional hour, it was like, oh dear God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, mom. And they were always the ones like ding dong the minute, the event call time was, they were on time there. It's like, yay. So went very nicely. And everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. I have become more of like my mother-in-law. I make a plate for myself, and then at that point, I'm like not even hungry.
Yeah, well, you were like running around mostly the whole time. I mean, I tried to offer to help, but then there's almost like a point where you're like, I don't even know what I can do that would be useful, but...
Yeah, I don't... so it's like I just caught myself like... So I picked up my plate because it looked good. And I saran wrapped it up and put it in the refrigerator.
You really didn't eat?
I took like 4. I checked my sweet potato souffle. I'm like, yep, good call. Kind of back on the sugar. Oh, this cornbread souffle is really freaking good. The turkey and gravy. And I took like a teeny bite of each.
Like
thing.
a sampler.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm full.
Yeah, I forget. I think it was Mark and I looked in the fridge and we're like, who did this? We did not realize it was you.
Oh, Mark was so ready to be like, what kid did this? I'm getting rid of it. I go, me? I'm going to eat it later. Put it back in there. Give me some joy, please. Yeah, so it was just, and then there's always an interesting pie
Situation.
Yes.
There was a lot of variety of pie.
Oh my gosh. So Rosemary's Pie was pretty classic this year.
Yeah, she tried to do a new recipe. Well, didn't try. She found a recipe that was like egg-free, gluten-free, dairy-free. And she texted me. She's like, I found this recipe. Should I do it? I'm like, yeah, do it. And I thought she meant she was going to do it like this was a week before. Like as a tester.
test
Like
run,
just
yeah.
do it and see if it's good. No, she did it like the day of, or whenever she did it, and brought it to Thanksgiving.
Color wise, everybody thought it was a chocolate pie.
Well, that was the
and
misdirect.
they got excited.
Yeah.
Kirk, her husband, because she says, and you should, like when we had two, like I said, like a stuffing versus a dressing, but we had one was gluten free. We should have made little signs.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
this is
little
gluten-free.
labels. Mm-hmm.
But we were all there and just talking and communicating, so it was fine. But Rosie refuses to let her husband put a sign because she feels like if you put a sign that says gluten free on something, a lot of people steer away from it when in actuality it's really good and you wouldn't even know the difference if someone didn't tell you. So she said, I don't want anybody to know my pie is gluten free. First of all,
But we did need to know it was pumpkin.
yeah, because it certainly didn't look like it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was funky looking from the get go. And
A funkin' pie.
yeah, I was like, what the hell? And, Dee Dee, my sister in law, had asked very early on because she was only coming for dessert. She said, can I bring some pies? And I said, yeah, okay. And to make her life easy, because I just had them at something recently, I'm like, just go to Costco and buy that huge pumpkin one and the apple that I had, which was incredible. They're both like $6. I
Yeah,
mean, you
they're
couldn't even
huge,
buy
too.
the
Yeah.
ingredients for the amount of money. So go help Costco.
They need your
the
help.
help to wipe out their pie selection.
Mom and pop Costco shops.
Yes.
Gotta take care of it.
Small local business. So go buy the 2 pies there. And then our other sister-in-law, Michelle, was like offering to bring all of her homemade pies, but they drive up like, so I'm always like, that's too much. You guys, even though you come, you're the largest group that comes, in some ways it's just like, yeah, but you're driving up that day. It's just too much. And she's a school teacher that I think works until the Wednesday before.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, the one thing I do need from you is your chocolate pecan pies. Because
That thing is incredible.
Right? That's what Mark is looking for. If it's not there on Thanksgiving, he is sad. So Dee Dee was bringing pies. Rosie was bringing a pie. I had my whole cookie display with hockey pucks of those cookies on there. And so Rosie got excited because people were lining up for dessert. We had moved all things around. Now there's a big dessert buffet. And people were taking her pie. And she was like, wow, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited.
I'm an older guy in this group, so I was standing back and I was watching, and then I caught someone getting a slice. I'm like, dang, that pie has had some action. Do they know it's a weird pumpkin pie situation?
No.
And I caught
Yeah.
one of James's kids, JP, getting the slice, big old grin on his face, like, what is this, a slice of fudge? And like, that's pumpkin. And his face went, meow. You see it melt.
So Kirk observing this, both with pride and confusion, the same way, like, wow, people are really
It's
eating my
going.
wife's pie, but why? So he basically said, well, do you guys know that's Rosie's gluten-free pumpkin pie? I mean, it was like if the trash can could have been in close proximity. I mean, these teenagers were like, what? And one of them said, I thought it was a chocolate pie. He's like, no. I took the teeniest bite of it, I think maybe with you, John, just be like, what is it? I don't know what that was, but that, Rosie, that's off the list. That cannot make the list again next year.
Yeah, it was not great. I mean, it wasn't the worst, but it was not great.
There were too many other better options. That was not one of them.
Yeah, that was my thing. If it had been the only pie, absolutely I would have eaten it. Would have been fine. It was not. So all of a sudden it was like, well, I don't have room for this. It's,
Oh, no,
unfortunately.
No. And then, Virginia, because Rosemary, she was trying to be helpful, but she's still healing from her pelvic break. So she's on her cane.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I said, no, you go sit down or just do whatever you need to be comfortable. And while we were sort of clearing out dinner and setting up dessert or breaking down dessert and all that was happening in the kitchen, they were playing a game that Christian was doing in the den that was crazy. It's like a magazine
I did finally
guessing
look it up.
game.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so we're not going to spoil the whatever confusion and all that craziness, but it was occupying the teenagers, which is great. Fine. Be in the
Yeah, it
other
was a
room.
big focus. It was really fun. I
Right.
mean, he basically brought in this little mind trick game that he and his fiance had played at a dinner party recently or
Someplace
something.
else, yeah.
And you have to guess how they're guessing which magazine it is out of this,
very frustrating.
setup of 9. But it really occupied and was very fun.
Yes.
For the latter part of the evening.
So, but we were in the kitchen during all this and trying to deal with leftovers, which, a lot of turkey with 3 turkeys was left.
Yeah, that's one of the conclusions.
Wait,
so there
oh.
were 2 chafing dishes of turkey.
Yes.
I think one did not get touched.
Oh, wow.
But there are also like 5 families, all
Right,
of whom
well,
could absolutely take leftovers.
okay,
So
okay.
like, relax on the 3 turkeys. It's not about the serving
Right.
that night. It's about today's sandwich.
Yes. But
Yeah,
that
but
has
it's also hard to like move out the leftovers. For some reason,
Breaking
people
it
don't take that
down
much.
or-
Yeah.
2 culprits right here. Both of you were like, don't want that much.
so.
I am rethinking that right now. I'll stop by on my way
Wait, hold on,
home
wait, hold
and
on.
pick up some turkey.
Wait,
Sorry.
hold on. So, let me just say this. So, you can really go back to even the night before. Our mother makes a turkey soup. So, she wants all the bones
Right.
and basically like any scrapplers or anything. So, Mark has embraced this and will do a huge like bag. But I did not know Mark had a special gift until recently. I thought we had gotten a vacuum sealer in our refrigerator. I was like, wow, this is incredibly vacuum sealed. And he's like, no, I have a trick that he learned. He's not on TikTok, so I don't know where he learned this magic from. But it's like an old school trick where you've taken your Ziploc bag all the way to where it almost closes and you insert a straw just in that space and you suck up the air and it literally vacuum seals it. Well, watching him do this with the huge bag of scrap leftovers, I almost peed myself. I was like, and then I gotta say, it is a vacuum packed bag of like bones and leftovers for Mom.
I mean, combination of almost pee yourself or vomit. That
Both,
sounds
yeah.
so gross.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, because the other way around is that like he's inhaling turkey
Yes,
air, just the most delicious Thanksgiving fumes.
Right.
He's just infusing himself with the deliciousness
Exactly.
of turkey
Oh,
air,
God.
Yes.
turkey carcass air.
Yeah, well, guess what? The fridge still smells like turkey.
Yes, exactly. When he showed us his special talent, literally Ethan and I almost fainted. I was like, I don't know if I ever make love to you again. I was like, this is so gross. So, but Mom has a lot of leftovers that are vacuum
Oh, my
sealed,
God.
a la Mark. So I said to him, I go, you cannot do that in front of this many people like Thanksgiving night. I'm like, do not do your special
I don't
trick.
think we should ever call that the vacuum seal. That is now the Roman seal.
The Roman
these
seal.
have been these have had the Roman
Yeah.
seal on them.
Yeah, I go, you cannot do this with anybody around. They will never, the Fog Boys will never let you forget. Just let it go. So it's also getting Mom's crazy, soup fixing base going. But Virginia is a whirling dervish. If she gets in there and helps you, you're like, I don't even know what happened. The next day I was like, do we have any turkey left? Like, I
no, really?
I know. But it was like, John's like, oh God. But, we sent stuff home with the Kennedys,
Which has been already put to good use.
we sent home stuff with Grand Jan. I have no idea how much or what happened. And then what other person like left with stuff that night? Who was it? Why am I forgetting?
Did the Fogs?
No.
Well,
boy.
see, this ended up being
Oh,
the problem.
Dooley's.
Yes, Dooley's. Jenny was, marshaling this, and she was looking out for herself and you. But then I think, of course, we have not asked her. Everyone refused to ask her. But theoretically, the Fogs were not included in this round robin.
Which they were some of the last people to leave. So Kirk is completely outraged that there are no leftovers for him.
How could there be no leftovers?
Well,
There's so much.
there was, but it wasn't like allocated or divvied out in a bag for him. So I was like, I don't want to unpack the refrigerator right now and figure out what the hell is going on. Because, and he's like, well, this is our bag. It's our bag. I go, oh, you can take that bag and you're going to be extremely disappointed because that's got that vacuum sealed, Roman sealed carcass in it.
Feels like there's a lot of stuff in there, but
Yeah.
it's mostly just stuff.
Yeah.
It's also, 25 pieces of bread.
Yeah. Well, the bread rolls go over the, which you guys.
Oh, I did see that bag. It had a lot of bread in it.
Yeah. So it was definitely one of those. I'm like, Kirk, you don't want that bag. Well, where are our leftovers? I'm like, I'll figure it out tomorrow. What? I go, you live a minute away. I'll figure it out tomorrow, but you can't trust me.
That's not
you
the bag you
don't
want.
want this bag.
And then weirdly, I want to throw into that mix that I was probably going back to the house first. I'm like, where are the turkey carcasses? Okay, let me grab those. Where's our food bag? There's a situation. You got to leave the bag. I'm like, oh, all right. And then I had a moment later where I'm like, wait, did I forget the turkey bag? Oh shit, Mom's gonna like lose her. Did we get gravy? Oh, I left it. Alleviated.
I know it was very nerve wracking, but I, came up for air at one point, and I'm like, wow, it's only like 8:15.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I have to get out. But luckily, the larger boys stayed and helped put back the main room together to some
Nice.
degree. So you don't feel totally discombobulated. And
we got all the furniture back in.
yeah. And I mean, I think, for having all these teenagers and all these adults, and we all don't see each other all that often all together like that.
I don't know if there's actually that many teenagers.
Yeah.
There's 20 somethings. They're
Yeah.
all over the teenage
Yeah,
years.
I thought it was really nice. I thought everybody got along great. It was nice to see everybody together. I think it went very well. I mean, some people always dread. I feel like I've lost a little bit of my social mojo, and I have a little bit of like anxiety because of COVID. It's like I used to go out all the time, and then like everybody else in the universe, it's paced back, accordingly, depending on what your pre-social calendar was pre-COVID. So it's even I like overtaxed to like where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so like tired by the end of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, even though it's my family, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just a lot because I'm just trying to think and this and that and so on and so forth. Oh, we forgot this or we didn't do that. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Unlike Christmas, which is almost like a whole season, Thanksgiving is just like this intense one day. But for us, it was really like 48 hours of just like, I stood on my feet I was so physically sore both Wednesday and Thursday night. I had to take like Advil, and
Oh,
my
wow.
body was like buzzing, trying to like go to sleep. It was like, ugh. So I still felt like it was a success because, like I said,
it was great. Yeah.
everybody got along. All the food was delicious. So the next day, what, John?
I was just thinking of one of the things that you were maybe putting on the list. So how did you feel instead of oranges or persimmons at every single place
Damn
setting,
it.
you did little chocolates? How did that feel?
Well, not like my full dream scenario, because here's the deal.
It's
chocolate.
so insane.
Okay, I will say, because I have enough fall decor, right? I used to buy sunflowers and tons of little baby pumpkins and all this and that. But now I've realized, if I haven't done the pumpkin haul on Halloween, I'm not doing it for Thanksgiving because what am I doing with all this stuff in the end?
Right.
And the flowers I've sort of pulled back because I literally, do you feel like the tables weren't decorated enough?
No, they were adorable.
Yeah, so it's like I've kind of stopped myself. But one of my friends, shout out, she is a master at decor on tables. Heather is her name. And see, another Heather. I have all these Heathers in my life. And she has an Instagram account called RSVP to my table.
Oh, cute.
nice.
And she has a really, I don't know if she rents it. I don't know if there's leaves. I don't know how she varies the length, but it's usually just one big long table. And it's very inspirational. Also, my other girlfriend, Heather Angel, sent me pictures of her table, and they had a beautiful runner down the center, too. So I had all these girlfriends really doing up their tables, right? Even Lainey. I said to John, I go, I feel like everybody at their little table should have like a little autumnal pear or an orange. And he's like, no. He kept shutting down my dream. Oh, now you're going to deny it?
No, I already said it was insane. This is definitely crazy. Also, all these other people, did they have more than 12 people?
Probably not. Yes, 27. And then I was like, damn.
Did they cook 3 turkeys? No.
Maybe 2, but 3 was insane. But I went to C's before, and I got all the kids chocolate little turkeys, and I called around to make sure I got the scoop on Are You Darker milk chocolate.
Right. We got that call.
And then I got C's little leaves for everybody's table. I was very tempted to go on like our old school childhood, a leaf walk, get a fall leaf for everybody's table setting.
I said that to Mark, at some point. I think probably when you were getting ready. I was like, oh, did you guys do the leaf walk? And he's like, no. And I was like, oh, that was on Liz's list. I don't know.
I didn't make it, John. I failed. See, that's why I lied in bed. I couldn't
It
go to
was
sleep.
expected of you hosting. Someone asked me. I'm not saying it was Jan, but it might have been Jan. He's like, "Oh, are these leaves from the? Did you do?" And I'm like, "No, these are like store bought. There's a light string in the middle of these."
Yeah, they're fake. So there was an homage to it, but not the real deal.
Right,
But
because
yeah.
the centerpiece of the table, the runner, was a little leaf thing that had lights built into it.
Yeah, like a garland that
Yeah.
was lit, and I added other.
It looks really
additional
real,
leaves.
though. It took me a moment to be like, wait, what's going on here? Which is also
know.
very smart because then you don't have candles because I know you like candles.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I felt like everything was decored up enough that I was like, all right, girl, just stop. But yes, trying to go to bed at night, I was like, I didn't do the leaf walk. So there's always something. So the next day I wake up and I'm so physically sore, but I got in there and reorganized both refrigerators and figured out all these leftovers. Because of course, Rosemary, what's up? So what did you get the leftovers figured out? I'm like, I'm gonna drop some off later. So
Which is funny because historically, her family is very anti-leftovers. Like her dinner leftovers are a no-go.
I thought the same thing, but it's almost because it wasn't in their house.
Oh,
And
Thanksgiving doesn't count.
Everybody kind of wants a leftover Thanksgiving
sure.
dinner. Now, she was like, where did all my gluten-free stuffing go? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know who the hell took that, but I only have Jan's left. So make a new
we
batch.
took some, but there was a separate, like, also,
I don't
like,
know.
I'm not.
It was a lot of mystery. So, it all shook out. We're making, to wrap this all up, tomorrow we're bringing over to the Fogg's house. This is one of my favorite leftover recipes now. Turkey enchiladas.
Ah.
Green. Oh my gosh. Is that
Send me
good?
the recipe.
Yes, it's delicious. So we'll make that tomorrow night and bring it over to their house because Rosie's meal train as she recovers. I signed up for that. And we had a turkey sandwich the next day that was delicious.
Eric had a turkey sandwich and Adam had like a dinner redo.
Nice.
So that's and I had some turkey on a salad, some leftover salad.
Yeah, we still have a decent amount of turkey, but I'm not ready to give it away yet because I'm trying to figure out how it shakes out at these enchiladas.
Yeah.
So once that shakes out,
Well, if you need more turkey, we have it.
No, I gave it to you to have sandwiches and to eat.
There would be sandwiches for 40 people.
What? No. What are you talking about? Oh, my Lord.
Some of it'll go in the soup. It's not all going to come off the bone. That's not how it works.
When is Grandmary coming back? Is she back yet? What's her...
Well, by the time you're listening to this podcast, she's back.
Well, I mean, I'm saying how many days was this trip? I don't even
it
know.
was just a week.
Now, if you guys could have any influence, I would like this turkey soup sometime in the window of the next week or so because
Yeah, when it's like a month later, it feels sketch.
I get suspicious of having turkeys unless it's been made and then frozen, which we know has not happened. So it's like I don't want to eat this turkey soup in March.
You are going to get a volcanically hot turkey soup in a styrofoam bowl
Where it's quivering, it's barely holding it together.
in like June. Just be ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, help
We're
us
gonna
all.
heat the turkey soup up to 195 degrees. The bowls can withstand 200 degrees. So good luck.
Just at the precipice.
Here's a spoon that's barely even able to get one bite.
that will go down
Oh, the
in
noodles just
history.
come right out of the spoon. It's great. So it's just hot liquid.
Not only that, but like, what ethers is the styrofoam releasing into the soup at this point?
What are you talking about? That's extra flavor.
Yes. But let's just say, a big takeaway was being very grateful
Sure.
for all of us that could be together. But, it's that all of us can get together, that we get along well enough to be in that large of a group and have a good time is a real blessing.
For sure.
And like I was saying, the last month or two has been odd for me. There's been some untimely deaths and some timely ones, but still they'll be greatly missed. And so I attended a lot of funerals in this last month.
Yeah.
So I said it was almost like a weird grief season, and maybe we'll get into that into another podcast. But I was really ready to like shift into like being with the family and a feeling of gratitude. And then now we're heading into what you hope for all of us is a season of joy, and then a renewal at the new year. So I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving there listening, and we are really grateful for all of you that do listen.
For sure.
Be part of our Family DynamiKs with a K, the
our
Killmonds.
extended family.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So we hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. And like we said, we are grateful for all of you listening. So make sure you also follow us on all of our social, which is at Family DynamiKs with a K. We would truly appreciate it. We'd love to hear your comments or what was some of your favorite moments over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Or your recipes.
Ooh, love that idea.
So thank you again for listening to
Family DynamiKs.